Today we're going to be unboxing this Hatsune Miku freeing figure. It is not a freeing bunny, it is just a standard old Hatsune Miku, but it is a quarter scale figure. And this box is pretty big because I want to show you here, which I don't have any of the like regular freeing figures, the bunny ones here, but this is the Lum box. And you can see here, like, it's pretty big. And it's very nice. Like, this box is, that's like an end in there, and I think that's where you open it. But it's like a nice box. Like, this is a nice figure. I can already tell before I even get it out of the box. Another comparison to show you how big this thing is, there's a pop. Like, it's massive. So, like I said, this is just standard Miku. There's nothing special about it, other than that it's just a big Miku from what I can tell. I don't really have any of her in her standard outfit yet, especially a big figure like this. So this was my way of getting a big Hatsune Miku in her standard outfit to be able to display it alongside all of the tan Mikus and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get her out of the box and see what she looks like. Okay, so I think you just lift up on this. Yes, it's a very like elaborate way of unboxing it, which is cool. I mean, you get your kind of, you know, theatrics whenever you're unboxing it. Now, if you would like to buy this figure or any others, you can check out Ami Ami, which is where I got this one from. But if you like some other Hatsune Miku stuff, I don't think this one is available there, but Entertainment Earth is also an option. So go ahead and check them out if you would like. They will also be down in the description. And if you use them, you will get 10% off any in-stock order if you use that code. And it also just helps me out if you are so inclined to help out the channel so that I can show off a bunch of stuff like this and maybe make a little bit of money back on all of my odd purchases. So first off here, it's still stuck. First off here, we have a base. Let's sit this over to the side and let's look at the base. Because if you have been here long enough, you'll know I think the bases are quite important. I think a good base, or a base, can tell a lot about the figure as a whole. If you get a good base, it's probably going to be a really good figure. If you have a bad base, it's probably not. Unfortunately for this one, I don't think we're going to be able to get it out of the plastic. I got it. I got it. Is it a good base? No. No, it is not. It is a plastic base, and it's like that. It's just white. It is not even like white. It's more of like a clear white. It's very odd. That's like my one issue with freeing figures, is they give us such basic bases, which I get it. The figure is supposed to be the main thing, but the box for this figure has more detail and thought put into it than this base. And also, I mentioned this with the bunny figures a lot. They usually use like a more of a metal peg. These are just plastic, so I don't know. I'm just pointing out what I see. Let's move on to the next thing here. I think this box is upside down, by the way. So I'm going to just pull all of this out and flip it over. Here's the hair. My gosh. You really... There's more plastic in this hair than there are in some figures. Most figures. There's probably more plastic in this than there is in this Funko Pop. So, let's get this out of here. There we go. Alright, so it is wrapped up in a bubble wrap here. I don't think I'll have to cut it, but we will see. So yeah, as you can see there, really nice waves in it. It's not just a big standard thing. You definitely are getting your detail in the hair. You also get up there, you can see the little detail that'll go up right by her hair there. And even some translucent detail down here at the end, which I really like that. If you see in a lot of Hatsune Miku figures, they will have some translucent detail in their hair, and I really like that. I think it kind of adds a little bit to those to the character when they do that. So I'm a big fan of that. Now let's see if it's just mirror whenever it comes to the hair. I am going to assume it is. No, it's different. Yeah, it's slightly different. Ever so slightly. It's not just a mirror of one another. It's slightly different, which I like. I like that. Okay, so final thing here is Miku herself here. So really interesting packaging. I'm sorry that I'm kind of getting distracted here. I'm just amazed by this packaging. Like I don't know why, but I'm just so amazed by it. They actually like put detail into that. Now should they have? Probably not, because they really skimped out on that. But anyway, let's get her out of here. Get everything off of her. And yeah, that's a pretty figure. That is a really pretty figure. Let me go ahead and put it on the base, and then I'll show it to you and talk about it a little bit. So you do get this little plastic thing here that will go on her foot. It goes over here. I assume just like that. Now, I said they kind of skimped out on the base, and I'm not wrong, but they did put this like metal peg on the end of her hair, which, cool. That's good. I'm glad they did that. Okay, so this is a really, really nice figure. Now, I want to go over a few things that I really like about it, and then I'm going to talk about a few things that I don't really like about it, or I think could be improved, because this says it's version 3. So obviously they've probably made version 1 and 2. I don't know if this is a major improvement from that, because I don't have that. But as for this one, a few things that I really like. The hair looks pretty good. I do have one complaint about it, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. The hair does look good, though. The outfit itself looks perfect. Is in terms of like a detail on the molding, looks perfect. The tie looks great. The outfit itself looks great. No issues there. Molding wise in general with this one, I have no real big complaints. I think everything is done very, very well. Even whenever it comes to, there is 2 very tiny pieces of hair on the back of her neck here. Doesn't need to be there. Without it, no one's going to say anything. They put it there anyway, and it makes the figure just that much better because you see the attention to detail they have put into it. Speaking of attention to detail, there is so many details around her skirt here, on her arms, tons of details. There is details in her legs here, in her boots. Just so many tiny, tiny details that do not need to be there, but they make it feel like this is the official Miku, like the be-all, end-all of Miku figures for the standard look. They nailed it. Now, a minor complaint that I think you could even argue isn't a complaint, because I'm kind of okay with it, but I think it's something that you could argue could have been done a little bit better. I like this hair that kind of goes down and swoops down, but then this hair kind of swoops outward. It does take up a little bit more room. I think you could have obviously saved people on their shelving space, but I feel like if you're going to get a quarter scale figure, you know you're going to take up a lot of room on a shelf, and this is no different. So I'm not going to complain about that too much, because you know what you're getting whenever you get one of these. And I mentioned before in the review that I really like translucent stuff, like I mentioned with the hair. Her sleeves are translucent, and I think it's done really well. There is detail on that, and it fades from black to the translucent. I think it's done very well, and I think it looks really good. So no complaints there. If I do complain about anything to do with the detail on this figure, is that on a few of the words that are printed out onto the figure, they are quite, like, the paint is not perfect. It is kind of smeared in places. Now, is that a defect on mine? Is that something that's wrong with the figure as a whole? That's up for debate. I would assume there is going to be a paint defect in every one of them, or 90% of them, just because of how much detail there is. So to expect every bit of detail to be perfect, I think is reaching. Especially with a figure like this, whenever it's something very elaborate, it's hard to notice paint defects and stuff like that, because you might, like, if it's a big flame or something, you're not going to notice the defects, because if it should be yellow but it's red, you probably aren't going to notice it in a big flame. Whenever it's specific words or very tiny detail that if something is off, it will show up, that's going to be harder to make sure every one of them is perfect. And in a production run like this, it's pretty much impossible. Now, one minor complaint, and this is probably the biggest complaint that I have with the figure, but it is not something that I think is make or break for the figure. I just think it could have been better. I think the face is a little boring. It's very standard. She's just kind of smiling, but it's not a, very, expression that it just seems basic. I think Miku is a very vocal, obviously, character, so I think giving her a mouth open smile would be even better. I think you could really do something cool with that, make it look like she's singing, whatever. I think that would look even better, because obviously we're supposed to see that she is kind of dancing or something like in this pose. Making her sing would be even better, in my opinion. Now, because this is not just a standard bunny outfit, I can comment on one thing that other freeing figures don't always have the ability to look at. And this is a bit of a perverted part of the video. You can see up her skirt, and it is well designed down there, and I'll give them that. It obviously is underwear. You're not getting anything that is inappropriate other than the fact that they have detailed Hatsune Miku's panties. I mean, I guess, Vocaloids need them too. Overall, I think it's a good figure. I don't really have any major complaints with it, other than I think they could have done more. Freeing obviously has done multiple Mikus. They've done some that are basic, like this one. They've done some that are much more, varied in their design and, what kind of outfit and character that Miku is supposed to be interpreting. This one is just the basic one, so everything is kind of basic. The base is very basic. The face is very basic. But if you want a basic Miku, here you go. Now, is it overpriced? Maybe a little bit, but it's not as overpriced as some of the other Mikus that Freeing has put out, and it's not as overpriced as some of the other Freeing figures that Freeing has put out. So I'm not going to complain too much. This is about average for a Freeing figure, and I think it stands up to most of the Bunny Girl outfits, if not most of them. So, is it the best anime figure of the year that I unboxed? Probably not, but is it the worst? Far from it, and it's probably up there top 1, 2, maybe top 3 Mikus that I have unboxed. So, overall, I think it's a good figure. If you want to get it for yourself, I don't think you're buying a bad figure. Maybe I'll get some other Freeing Mikus, and we'll see them and see if they're stack up to this Miku. But anyway, this is about it. Thank you so much for watching. Have you picked up a Freeing Miku? Do you think this is worth picking up? Do you think it's a bit too basic, or do you think it kind of fits for this Miku? But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Until then,